All right, welcome everyone to the El Toro La Liga show. Today is, I don't know how long it's going to be, but it'll be a bit quick. Obviously, you guys can see right here the 2026 FIFA World Cup final draw. The show, and featuring me as the host, will be live a little bit after this show. So obviously, after this show, do go over to the next live stream, the live show of the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw. But for this, obviously, we'll be talking about La Liga. It is match day 15. So, we're kind of getting close to halfway point of the season. Lots of games have already happened over the past weekend. And now, obviously, we are now looking ahead to the games that will be happening very soon. So we might as well get started because I do need to do a little bit of preparation before the actual show for this World Cup. But obviously, this will be around. And obviously, let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions on the La Liga games this coming weekend in the chat, obviously. So let's get started with the first game of the weekend, which is obviously going to be Real Oviedo against Mallorca. Now, obviously, both of these sides are not really in the best form at the moment, but obviously they do have a little bit of hope whereby they could get into survival. And obviously, I have posted the link as well. Let me just have it appear for the World Cup draw. So do go there after the stream is over, this one. But yeah, Oviedo against Mallorca. Win probability 37% for Oviedo win, 32% for a draw, and 31% for a Mallorca win. Obviously, both of these sides a little bit far down in the table. Oviedo are bottom at the moment by goal difference. Mallorca just a point above the relegation zone. Both teams not doing quite well in La Liga. However, I do think that even though Oviedo have not won a game since like the Valencia game back in like late September or whatever it was, I think this is a game that they could potentially win. Obviously, the win probability actually says they might win this more than a Mallorca win, actually. So I'll go and back Oviedo to get a win here. I think it is going to be very important. A win for Oviedo is going to be huge. So I will go with a 2-1 win for Real Oviedo for this one. I just think that home advantage and maybe they'll start clicking with under the new manager. So hopefully, we'll see. The game tomorrow, obviously, is Villarreal against Getafe. Both of these sides at the moment in you could say a good-ish form at the moment. But the win probability is definitely in the favor of Villarreal, 60% for them, 24% for a draw, and only 16% for a Getafe win. Now, if you see over here, Villarreal are now, I believe, at the moment, the team with the longest unbeaten streak after Atletico's loss in midweek. Villarreal now in third because of Atleti not getting a win. So Villarreal are probably, I wouldn't say they're the challengers for La Liga title, I'll be honest, because I do think it will be the top two or even Atleti more than Villarreal. But they are on really good form in La Liga. Champions League, they're shit. It doesn't matter. For Getafe, they finally got back to winning ways there. And then amongst it, I would say, in the race for any of the European spots. I don't think they'll get top four. I think there's a real clear gap. And a win here for Villarreal at home could really help them solidify even a potential 15-point gap between them and Getafe in seventh. So it's a big one. In my opinion, I do think Villarreal will get the win here tomorrow afternoon. I'm going for Villarreal to win this 3-2. I think this could be a potential surprise big game of the week, even though Getafe don't score. But I'll say they'll score 2, but lose 3-2. Up next, we do have a Basque derby. Not really the most famous of Basque derbies, but we do have Alavés against Real Sociedad. As I said, both of these sides have kind of improved. Alavés, not really, but look, it's quite even. 34-34 for both teams to win, 32 for a draw. So it's really even. This is quite an even fixture as well, historically, when both teams are in La Liga. Sociedad, unfortunate that they couldn't get the win. They conceded in the last minute against Villarreal at home in the previous game week, which could have put them a little bit more higher up. I will still say Real Sociedad are going to finish the highest of the basket teams, even though they're at the moment 4 points behind Athletic Club, the big rivals. Alavés just a point behind Sociedad, but in and amongst it in the race of getting European spots. So it's very tight in the La Liga table, I would say. So it is going to be really important for either of these sides to pick up a win. I think a draw doesn't help either. So I'm going with a win. It could swing either way, but I do think Real Sociedad have really picked up. And I'll say Real Sociedad to win this one 2-0. I'll go 2-0 for Real Sociedad to win at Alavés. Next up, we do have is Real Betis taking on FC Barcelona. Obviously, this is Barcelona's first away game since the Camp Nou reopened. Not really because they played Chelsea and lost, but yeah, obviously both of these sides in you could say a very good run of form apart from that Chelsea loss and for Betis. And well, Betis having a very good week. Obviously they have beaten Sevilla, the big rivals, of the past weekend by a score of 2-0 away at the Betis. So it is a huge boost for Betis to get into the top 4 potentially, or top 5 if Spain gets the extra spot, but I don't think so. 24% only for a Betis win, 21% for a draw, 55% Barcelona win. Obviously, Barcelona at the moment on a very good run of form. The last time they lost in La Liga was the El Clasico at the end of October. And since then, they have overtaken Real Madrid in the standings. Meanwhile, Betis currently on 24 points. They are at the moment 7 points behind Atleti. Though they do have a game in hand over Atletico Madrid. So they are, I will be honest, the closest potential challenger for the top 4. I'll be honest, if you really want to secure Champions League football, not have to rely on the Spanish teams to get the extra spot. So I think Betis are the closest challengers, even though it might not be like that by the end of this weekend. And obviously, this is a special weekend in Spain. It's a long holiday, or in Spain we call it Puente, which means bridge. So it's a long weekend. I have today off. I also have Monday off, but Friday. I know I say I have a Friday off today, but I'm doing my World Cup draw and my YouTube stuff. So lots of things happening for me today. But yeah, in terms of a prediction, I could see this being a draw. And I'll go with a draw. I'll go 1-1 in this one. 1-1 between Betis and Barcelona. I think both can cancel each other out. 1-1 is my prediction. Next up, we have the battle of Athletic against Atletico, obviously. And let me just sort this out. And big up to everyone in the chat. Nick Fadley says Barcelona to win 3-1. Potentially, it could happen. And also Nick as well, just so that you know, my World Cup live stream draw will be happening very soon, just in under an hour. So do head over there after this show is over. It will be after this show. So obviously a big show coming up with more than just me. There'll be 4 other people panelists. But yeah, Athletic Club against Atletico. Now, Athletic Club have not been that good this season, which I kind of expected. Atletico, despite the loss to Barcelona, are still a pretty good team and probably will secure top 4 by the end. 29% Athletic Club win, 29% draw, and 42% Atletico Madrid win. Obviously, there's a contrasting form. Obviously, both of these sides finished 3rd and 4th in La Liga last season, which meant that both got into the Champions League. But I'll be honest, Athletic Club's season has not been the best. They just recently lost to Real Madrid at home 3-0, so they're playing the other Madrid team at home. Potentially, they could get a result. Obviously, Athletic just lost their only second game of the season, the first time since Espanyol on the opening day. But I'll be honest, I do think that it might end up as a draw in this one. I'll go with a draw between these two. I'll go 1-1 as well, just like the Barcelona game and Betis. I'll go 1-1 between Athletic Club and Atletico Madrid. Next up, we do have here on Sunday afternoon is Elche against Girona. And let me just check the chat. Nick says 2-1 to Atleti. Yeah, I can see it, definitely. Next up, we do have, as I said, is Elche against Girona. Now, I'll be honest, Elche, since the very good start they had to the season, they've kind of dropped off. Girona, meanwhile, they are in a very good, well, not in a very good, but I mean, like, they're in and amongst it. I believe they got a draw against Real Madrid, so that definitely helped. I didn't expect it, I'll be honest. 44% Elche win, 28% draw, 28% Girona win. Obviously, as I said, Elche just not in a good run of form now. You know, they started the season so well, and then they're kind of dropping a little bit off. And if they lose to Girona, then they are in serious danger of really dropping a little bit more further down the table if certain results of teams below them, you know, improve or above them. Meanwhile, Girona, they're just below Osasuna in the relegation zone, but they're in and amongst it. But they all unbeaten in the last 3 games, and they did draw with Real Madrid. And they did play Barcelona a few weeks ago and almost drew that game. I think it could have been 1-1 or 2-2. I know Barcelona won in the last minute in one of the Catalonian derbies. But prediction, I will have to say for this one, Elche have to win. This is a must-win for Elche. And I'll go with them to win. I'll go 3-1 to Elche. I think Elche will finally get their first win in like ages. It's been a long time since they won. So I'll go 3-1 for Elche. And obviously, next up, we do have here is Valencia against Sevilla. Valencia against Sevilla in a sort of, when you think about it, these two teams should be high up in the league. They are one of the most historic clubs, both of them in La Liga, and both of them have been a bit shit. Probably since 2023, I believe, after Sevilla won the Europa League, and then if you remember a few years back, Valencia won the Copa del Rey. Since then, they're not even close to getting anywhere near that. And I'll be honest, both teams really need to win. Sevilla just lost the derby to Betis. Valencia, yeah, they won a couple weeks ago against the big rivals Levante, but have not really improved that much. Valencia, 44% win, 28% draw, 28% for Sevilla win. And as you can see, both of them are lower mid-table, I'll be honest. Just 2 points separate them. Look, Valencia, they didn't really capitalize on their win against Levante. They drew the following game. As for Sevilla, they lost the derby to Betis. So at home, not even it's not even the Villarreal, it's La Cartuja. So Sevilla are not in good form, apart from that one win and beating Barcelona. They haven't really done anything much. Valencia, not in a good spot, despite being unbeaten in the last 3, but didn't really capitalize on that derby win over Levante 2 weeks ago. I'll be honest, I don't know what to make of these two. I really don't know. But I think maybe because of the home advantage Valencia have, this could be like a 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Valencia. But I will say Hugo Duro must be starting. I'll be honest. Like, the dude has been on the bench. He has to start, Hugo Duro. I think he's the best player for Valencia. So I'm going 2-1. Maybe he'll score. 2-1 Valencia is my prediction. Next up, we do have is a little bit of a small, not a rivalry. What we do have is Espanyol against Rayo Vallecano. Obviously, Espanyol having a very good season so far, and they are on odds to win this. 42% Espanyol win, 29% draw, 29% not Mallorca, Rayo Vallecano win. Espanyol, as I said, could be, if Betis don't win against Barcelona, Espanyol could be the team in 5th and the quote-unquote closest team to challenging for the European spots. In my opinion, I don't think Espanyol will get Champions League, but they could get one of the European spots like Europa or Conference League. I think they are doing very well. I'm surprised. I'll be honest. I'm really surprised just how good Espanyol have been this season. And they host a Rayo Vallecano team that are winless in the last 4 La Liga games. Plus, they do have that Conference League back-to-back weeks now because they play this upcoming, next week and then the week after. So, they're going to have a quite congested schedule, I'll be honest. So it might not be in the favor of Rayo Vallecano, and I'm actually going with a Espanyol win. I might go with just a 1-0 Espanyol, maybe Mia to get the goal for Espanyol. I'll go 1-0 Espanyol in that one. And then this is the game that I'm kind of looking forward to, mainly because as I'm a Deportivo La Coruña fan. And big up to Ozan, kumusta ka natin? Mabuti, I'm doing good. Oaxaca 911, obviously I know who you are. It will be just after the show. It will be after the show. I'll be hosting it with Charlie and 3 other people you will meet as well. So please do join. As I said, the link of the show will be here, and it will start in about 40 minutes. In about 40 minutes, the show will start. So hope you guys can join because it'll be a huge show. It'll be like 2-3 hours, and I'm hosting it. But it'll be a really good show. But going back to La Liga now, you have Real Madrid against Celta Vigo. Obviously, as a Deportivo La Coruña fan, I want Real Madrid to win 7-0. I know for most people, they want Celta Vigo to win. I'm like, why? But yeah, win probability 74%, Real Madrid win, 15% for a draw, and only 11% for a Celta Vigo win. Here's an interesting fact. Real Madrid have not played a home game at the Bernabeu since November 1st, I believe. November 1st or November 2nd. They have not played a home game at the Bernabeu in 1 entire month. And they've, you can see in the form, yeah, obviously they beat Atlético, but 3 straight draws before that. They lost to Liverpool at Anfield and all. They've played almost every single game in November, not at the Bernabeu. They've been away in every game. So I'm not complaining, but there's a little bit of dodginess. Like, how have Real Madrid not played a single home game, at least in the month of November? It's crazy. So obviously, this is the first game since in a month. So I feel bad for the Madridistas. I know some people are not. But because they're playing Celta Vigo, and look at where Celta are, they just lost the most recent game and also lost to Ludogorets about 10 days ago, or last week, actually. So I'm going with Real Madrid to win, just in front of the fans for the first time in a month. I'll go 2-0. I'll be modest. 2-0 to Real Madrid to win. That'll be my prediction between these two teams. Next up, and the final game, which is on Monday Night Football, is Osasuna against Levante in La Liga. Monday Night Football, Osasuna against Levante. And obviously, big up to the chat. Yes, AD744 will be on. Zia Talks will be on. Charlie G TV will be on. And Renka Talks Ball. So it's including me, a 5-person panel. It'll be a huge panel from all over the world. So please, obviously, as I said, the link is here in the chat so that you guys can go to it and following this show. Obviously, this show might end, about a few minutes before it actually starts, but obviously it will start when at 6 o'clock here in Spain or 12 p.m. Eastern time for Oaxaca 911. If you're in the West Coast, I think 9 a.m. it will start. But yeah, going back to the La Liga games, we have is Osasuna against Levante. Obviously, Monday Night Football. And I'll be honest, both teams are doing shit. They're doing really shit. 55% Osasuna win, 25% draw, 20% Levante win. You scroll all the way down, and they're both in. Yes, Osasuna are not in the relegation zone, but they are practically in the fight. They have not won a game since like game 7. So it's been like the winners in the last 6-7 games. And I'll be honest, they've been sleepwalking towards relegation this season. Budimir's not really been the same. Only scored like 1 or 2 goals. And I'll be honest, they're not been that good. Levante, meanwhile, yes, newly promoted, but have not really shown any sort of quality to get anything going. I'll be honest. And I'll say this. This could be a 0-0. It could be a boring-ass 0-0 where both teams just don't want to lose. And I'll be honest, I think that's how it will end. I'm going 0-0. Pretty boring game because Osasuna did not fucking score any goals like they used to with Budimir, but I don't think so. So I'm going 2-1. No, not 2-1. I said 0-0. 0-0. 0-0 between the two teams. 22 minutes. All right. And obviously, right here. Now it is time for the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the weekend. And I will be honest. I know Barcelona, Athletic Club, and Real Madrid played 2 games, but I'm actually going with a Betis player. Once again, it's not Anthony the GOAT. Meh. With that, I'm actually going with Pablo Fornals. I think he was really good in the Sevilla derby. Obviously, Sevilla losing to Betis. Betis winning that 2-0. So I'm going with Pablo Fornals scoring the first goal. It was really good for Betis in the derby. And obviously picking up, I think it's been a long time since Betis won a Sevilla derby in the stadium of Sevilla, in the Ramon Pizjuan. So it's a really good result. And I'm going with Pablo Fornals, former West Ham, to have the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the week. So for him, even though you'll probably never meet me, congratulations to him. Now, obviously, let me just sort this a little bit out. All right. Now it is time for the Segunda chat. Oh, no, let me switch it up. Let me do it here. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Now, Segunda chat. All right. Obviously, my personal favorite league, obviously. Obviously, we'll first review the games of the past game week 16. In the Segunda, you had Sporting Gijon 1, Andorra 1. Under the new manager, Andorra have a new manager. Ceuta finally getting a big win against Burgos, which is really good result for them. Granada winning away at Leonesa, so that's pretty good. For a Deportivo perspective, this was really good. Almeria 0, Huesca 0. And then obviously last Saturday, Deportivo La Coruña, we have made it 5 wins in a row. And we also won the Copa del Rey game against Sabadell, the team from Catalonia. So we are on, I believe, now a 7-game winning streak. Deportivo La Coruña, come on, let's go. La Liga, here we come. But I'm not going to get myself carried away. But we did beat Alavés 2-0 at their stadium. So we're the most informed team at the moment. We have successfully succeeded in no lose November instead of no nut. It'll be no lose November. NLN. Valladolid drawing 1-1 against Malaga. Yeah, Zaragoza continuing a surprise run of form. They've won 3 games in a row and they beat Leganes 3-2. I don't know where this winning from Zaragoza came from. I did not expect it. And now they somehow maybe have a chance of surviving. Because I'll be honest, I was writing them off. And now they've won 3 games in a row. And then you have Racing Santander probably being our closest challengers for the top 2 or even for the title if it ends up being that. They won 4-0 against Eibar. And then Miranda's beating Sociedad B team. And also Miranda's now picking up wins. How are the teams at the bottom now just picking up wins all of a sudden? And then you have a sort of a Andalusian derby between Cadiz winning away at Cordoba. And on Sunday, the final game, you had Castellón beating Las Palmas, which is probably the biggest result of the weekend. And now for game week 17, there's no games tonight actually, because most of them have played in the Copa del Rey, so they move whichever games on Saturday. So you only have these. You have Andorra against Almeria. You have Huesca against Valladolid. Sociedad B are hosting Sporting Gijon. You have Cadiz hosting Racing Santander. That might be a good game to look out for. You have Leganes taking on Cordoba, and Leganes are getting close to that relegation zone. They're getting closer to it, unfortunately for them. Eibar taking on Leonesa, and then obviously Deportivo La Coruña taking on Castellón. If you guys want to know my preview and all my prediction, do check out the La Piña Rosa show that I usually do with Charlie, talking about Deportivo La Coruña, for Charlie being Palermo of Serie B. You guys will know how I feel about this game against Castellón. And then you have Granada against Ceuta this weekend. And then you have a couple games on Monday. And the reason why their games play on Monday, as I said, this weekend is the Puente, or sort of the long weekend. It's like a constitutional day here in Spain. So it's a long weekend and people are off work. So Monday is really relatively free for most people. But yeah, you have Burgos taking on Albacete. You have Las Palmas taking on Mirandes, and Malaga hosting Zaragoza to end off the Game Week 17 games. And now, obviously, let me just show you guys the league table because it is for good viewing for that boy. Look. Where are we? First place. We are in first place. It's been a really good, so far, really good season for us. We finally picked up 5 wins in a row. Can we make it 6 in a row in the Segunda? I hope so. We are hosting against Castellón, as I said. Racing Santander or the other team in the automatic spots. And both of us are 3 points ahead of the closest challengers of Almeria, Las Palmas, and then you also have Burgos and Castellón. The surprise, I would say both Burgos and Castellón are the 2 surprise packages in the Segunda this season. I did not, at the moment, expect them to be up there. Maybe by the end of the season, probably not. Maybe one of them. But do I expect them to get promoted into La Liga? Probably not. But who knows? Obviously, you have Cadiz, Ceuta, you have Valladolid, Cordoba, and Sporting Gijon, as usual, bottling it, just like Santander might be later on. That makes up the top half of the Segunda. And then, obviously, you have Leonesa on 20 points in 12th. You have Malaga, Granada, Albacete, and Huesca, all of them on 19 points in the bottom half of the Segunda, and Sociedad B, after losing, are on 18 points. On 18 points, and also on in 18th place is Leganes, and the bottom 4. You probably thought Mirandes and Zaragoza are going to, they're gone. Nope, they've been picking up wins. They've picked up more wins than any team in the bottom 5. Meanwhile, Eibar and Andorra are the teams also in that relegation zone at the moment. So it is going to be a close battle between every single team in the Segunda. I will be honest. So it's a big weekend in Spain, obviously, and it's a long weekend, so it's quite good for me. But yeah, as I said, this is the show we are about to do in about 30 minutes, actually. I'll post the link once again. Here is the link. Will it appear? Yeah, so obviously I am doing the World Cup draw in about 30 minutes. So I will see you guys there. Obviously, do click on the link so that you guys can check it out. And yeah, that will basically wrap up the show. Obviously, let me just get that caption back up once again. Here in about 30 minutes, we will be starting the live draw show, which I am hosting. But yeah, until then, everyone, I will see you guys in about 30 minutes. Peace.